Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is the first video of our Vaishnava talks. And today I want to talk about it's okay to be ordinary. I've seen very recently, or over so many years on YouTube, that a lot of people are always trying to preach, let's say, about how to become rich, how to become famous, how to look good, how to become successful, how to be better at something. And this world works on that everyone is envious of one another, that I want to be better than somebody. And what happens is that majority of the population naturally are just the common man like myself, not something special. So what happens is, because of our educational system and the social culture that's so prevalent today, everybody doubts themselves. Everybody is in a rush, especially to gather money and fame, because these are things that you can very easily flaunt in front of somebody. You'll see that on YouTube, every other channel is always talking about money, money, how to make passive income, investing in stocks, investing in real estate, and different things. How did I make so much money on my YouTube channel? How did I do this? How did I do that? And you have videos of people talking about, how to become famous, how to look good, and generally just talking about how you can be better than somebody else. And that creates a lot of pressure, especially for young people. And the reason is that the social culture, the culture that we live in, the way we relate to people, everyone is trying to prove themselves. But why is there such a need? The scriptures explain that as living entities, we are looking for relationship. And obviously, the ultimate fulfillment of that relationship is creating a relationship with God, Krishna. But before we get to that point, as long as we're in the material world, we need to have relationships with one another. And because we don't have fulfilling relationships, because everything is based on a very cosmetic basis, even relationships within family members, with loved ones, with boyfriend, girlfriend, with your close friends, it breaks at a certain point. And we all look for solace then in money, in all these other things, because we have some power when we have those things, and we feel that that power gives us satisfaction. But if you actually do some research, like if you watch all these YouTube videos about all these big people, big famous stars, excuse me, celebrities, they always say that money doesn't buy happiness, and that after a certain point of having money, they just didn't want to do things anymore because they realized that it doesn't give them the satisfaction. So the Vedic scriptures teaches us that actually there is a system created by God, and that everybody has their place. And the thing is that if you're an ordinary person, it doesn't mean that you're less valuable than somebody who is extraordinary, because being ordinary is a very important thing and it has its value. And sometimes the problem is that we all want to be the most valuable, which is not something very easy to understand, because it goes completely opposed to our education system. Our education system wants everyone to become a consumer and to help make the economy grow so fast by making everyone trying to become number one. So everyone's pushing full force, and that's just generating a lot of power and money and workforce. But actually, that doesn't satisfy the living entity. So if you look at it, let's take an example. Imagine everybody owned a Bentley, right? Everybody owned a Bentley in the world, right? Who would be happy that they had a Bentley? Definitely, if we're speaking right now in time, there would be people who never had a Bentley previously. They will feel happy. But let's say everyone had a Bentley for a few days. So everyone wouldn't be happy, because it's a world of variety. You don't want to have the same thing somebody else has. So that's the way it works. If everybody was rich, no one would be called rich. Everyone would be ordinary. So for someone to be rich, you need to have people who are not rich. If you want to be famous, you need to have people who are not famous. If you want to be learned, you need to have people who are not learned. So in this way, there's a perfect balance when everybody is imbalanced. So I'll say that again. There's a perfect balance when everybody is perfectly imbalanced. Because somebody who's famous, let's say you go to, watch a football football game, there's a famous player like Ronaldo or Messi. So definitely they're famous because they have ordinary people like us who are cheering for them. So as much as we are like minutely powered, maybe I'm one person, I don't have that collective effect. But collectively speaking, the collective only has power because there's an individual in it. So we all create somebody's worth, and same way somebody also creates our worth. So it's okay to be normal because that's the way it's always going to be. Everyone can't be rich at the same time. Everyone can't be a celebrity at the same time. Everyone can't be a big, big hot shot, or like let's say in ISKCON, you can't be the number one kirtaniya. You can't be always playing the midanga. You can't be always doing the abhishek. You can't be always giving all the lectures in all the festivals. You can't be all places on the planet at the same time. You can't have all the disciples. You can't write all the books. You can't do everything on your own. Sometimes you have people who do a lot of those things. Those are rare devotees, like Srila Prabhupada, the Goswamis. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how as people we should live in this world. And the key message is that it's okay to be ordinary. It doesn't mean that life is bad. It doesn't mean that life is sad. It doesn't mean that, I'm being a sadist, or I'm just very lazy, or I'm pathetic. No, it just means that we understand how the creation has been made, and we all have a part to play in that. And this is very relevant because as you see devotees, many times everyone wants to rush to the 10th canto. Everyone wants to run and read what Krishna's confidential pastimes are, without understanding that for Krishna, all of these things, all the different pastimes, for him, they're the same. But we tend to try to rush to that because we're looking for the extraordinary. But devotional service is about the small things, the ordinary things, the things that Krishna sees you doing on a daily basis. And so it creates a very big foundational pillar for a successful spiritual life. And especially for the young devotees, because there's a lot of pressure socially. There's a lot of pressure amongst devotee groups. Everyone wants to be, let's say, the best kirtaniya, the best speaker, maybe, the most good looking, the biggest comedian. And all these things are naturally there in somebody, but it should not become a competition. It's very unhealthy as time goes on, because then what happens is the devotees start to lose track of the real thing, which is devotional service for Krishna's pleasure, not devotional service to successfully promote myself. And I feel that this is something that devotees really would like to know more about, and we can discuss it. If people have more questions, you can put it in the comments below. But remember, it's okay to be ordinary. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.